Okay, so today we will see the progress from all of these trial for internship candidate. Basically, the candidate will present the strategic planning for their project, and they will also answer some questions about their project. And the main questions are on everyone's daily journal. So you can prepare for that question. But yeah, let's have a look at the presentation. Who wants to present first?
I think we can present first, Kak, Min and Adri.
Okay, okay, let's go ahead then, Lukman and Adri.
Okay. 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 My screen should be everyone can see my screen. Well, okay. Thank you, Kak Bayu, and good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Kak Bayu, Kak Chris, Kak Nadia. Thank you for attending this meeting about the strategic planning presentation. Let me introduce myself. My name is Alif Lukman Kafi. You can call me Lukman, and my friends Adri. We want to present our project about database cleansing. So um, we have some outlines about to this presentation. There is observation, and then by the observation, we found the problem. We found the problem statement, and by the problem, we made the goals, we made the objective, and how to achieve the objective. We make a strategic planning and also the action. Okay, maybe we can start with the observation. It will be present by Adri.
Okay, so on the first day of trial, on the first day of this trial in Bukit Vista, we've been briefed by Kabayu regarding the data cleansing project, especially regarding the project property table, listing table, and unit table. So after we observe uh, all of the table and the property table, we found out that there are duplicated property name. For example, in this Pondok Riu house, it consists of two different rows and two different property IDs. When we check the when we compare it to the unit table in in units that have property ID of PR0601 have two units, but PR0600 have no units. So which property data is the right one? And also, is there any is that is the is other duplicated property name have that same kind of problem? And also, if we're going to do something about that, what impact does it what impact that does it affect to other tables? Next. And then from the unit table, we found what we call an inappropriate unit data, which means that units that doesn't represent the real single object that are marketed in the respective properties. For example, in Villa Arindra, they have property data which have property bedrooms of four, and and their unit data, and then in their unit table they have six units, and one of the units called Arindra for bedroom or the whole villa. This could cause, in our perspective, this could cause problem because when someone or guest book the Arindra for bedroom the whole villa, it automatically linked to the one in only, and it can be seen that the villa is have some rooms left, but in reality there is none. And then next. So to detect other properties that maybe have the same phenomenon as Vilarindra, uh, we try to compare the total bedrooms of the units to the amount of property bedroom. From there, we found that out of 653 properties, 440 these properties has compared the result of not one, which means that they have an inappropriate units, or there are other anomaly in the data. And the null value itself, it should be analyzed further, because it is caused by the null value in property table, property bedroom. And 204 properties has the comparison result of not one, which means that 204 properties have inappropriate units. And next. And when we observe the listing data, we hypothesize that the inappropriate unit data could possibly caused by the listing. So, for example, in Villa Arindra, there are listing data in the in the table below. There are listing data that have name of 4 bedroom, or like Balinese Marine Villa Perfect for long stay 4 bedroom, and 4 bedroom Jimbaran Beach Town. That it means that the amount of bedroom unit is 4, and the but in reality the unit that Arindra have, each unit have 1 bedroom only. So it costs so to accommodate that, a new unit is created, which is the Arindra 4 bedroom. So from this, we want to know what is the relation of what is the relation of between listing and the unit table, and also in relation to other tables, and also what happens when we change the unit table. Is it affect the listing data and other tables? Yeah. Okay, next. And then from there we derive the problem. Eh, First, which data in a duplicate property data is the right one, and what is the impact of when changing the data in the property table. And second, which data in the unit table is the inappropriate one. And third, how to extract the appropriate unit data based on what we know on the inappropriate one. And fourth, what is the impact on the listing data when changing the unit data, and how to avoid that change of listing data because of changing that unit data. And fifth, is there any previous guideline of the data input and how to improve that guideline? Okay.
Okay. Adri already mentioned about the observation, and by the observation, we got the problem, and so now we set the objective, and we decided to divide the objective into two terms. Like the first one is about the short term objective. We need to find the real number as well as the problem set it. So actually now me and Adri still couldn't find the real number about the error data. So this is the first objective, the short term. We need to find the number of duplicate property name, and then we try to find the number of property bedroom which is bigger than property unit as well as the less than per bedroom from unit, and we want to know why is it happening, and what it cost with what will affect to some other table. And also there is an still null value, and we still ask about why is the null value, and what can we do about, what can we manage, or can we deal about the null value. And of course we try to find the total of the error number of data that we need to be fixed, or maybe to clean. Yeah. And then and also we have the long term objective, as mentioned in generasi gigi before. We already talked about the data quality check, so maybe there are 6 data quality check. So we want to the data that now we're working on should be complete all the data check. The first one is about completeness. The data should not have missing value or the missing data records, and then the uniqueness, free from the duplicated data, and the timeliness. The data should be up to date or recorded when the data is recorded. I mean, like there's a date when the data is recorded, and then the accuracy, of course, the data described should be accurate. And validity, the data has a single source of truth, like Adri mentioned before. We still need to know where does the property bed data come from, and then the consistency about the format. Yeah, I think we think by fulfilling all these checklists, the data is ready to to be used in the next analysis. Maybe we can build a portfolio, and maybe we can testing about the data. Yeah, and we have the strategic solution. The first one, of course, defining the appropriate unit and property data. We try to find the appropriate one about the two tables, and then we try to cleaning the database into the correct one, like based on the defined data, and maybe there is something to be clean or to be fixed. We will try to do that, and then the structuring the connection between listing to unit table, or maybe the other connection that needs to be restructured. And then we want to make a guideline for user, could be PD or maybe community and marketing, maybe to avoid the same problem recurred. And now we have the action. Actually, how we find the action. Actually, me and Adri we working together about this project like last 2 days, and maybe I give my idea, and I give my query, and then Adri develop it, and Adri make his query, and I develop it. So maybe we want to divide the action plan into the who is in charge with this action. So maybe Adri can start about the property one.
Okay, so regarding the process of the property, first, I want to query the amount of property and find the property name that have more than one row of data. And second, find each property ID in a duplicated property. Three, compare the unit status and the created at column to see which data is the newest one and at what stage does that property in. And then the fourth is find which property ID to have no unit and compare with unit status and create it at table column. And fifth, analyze the impact of changing property data on other table. And fifth, if there's already if all is good, extract the right property data.
Okay, the next one is about the unit table. Of course, we want to explore the unit table and table connected, and define the correlation between each table. We want to try. Do we want to find the connection between the table? So, with if we make a change about the column, we need to know what table will be affected by that action, and count the number property bedroom, like maybe Adri mentioned before in the observation section. We need to find which property has the exactly the same property bedroom, and we analyze the result, and maybe we can find the connection and between unit and property.
Okay, for the cleaning regarding the listing, first, I want to query and explore the listing of each inappropriate unit data, and second, define which unit does it consist of, and fourth, after a unit is done being corrected, connect the defined units by change the unit ID of that listing data listing data on the unit listing table to the defined unit ID, and analyze the result by, and what I mean by that is to see how much what is the impact of that change to the other tables, because from the pairing that we've done with Kak Chris, the the listing data is connected to automation uh, and it could it could affect the automation if we carelessly change something. So we want to analyze it first.
Okay, the last one about the guideline, like the strategic planning, the guideline. We determine the objective of making that guideline, and then collaboration with the all affected chapter to get the insight, and then we propose the guideline, and maybe we can to evaluate and maintenance, and maybe we can regularly make an improvement or change about the guideline.
Okay, so the key result of our project is we divided into two timeline. First, the short-term key result, which have time limit of end of this week. First is 100 duplicate properties data found, and second, the 100% inappropriate unit data found, and third is 100% new value defined or clean. But and then the final is one viable process to clean and or refactoring the data. I'm sorry, guys. And then the long-term key result, the time limit is at around 2 months, and the key result is 100% data clean and one guide or a guideline for every chapter affected.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I think that's all from us. Thank you very much for your attention. Maybe is there any question? Thank you so much.
Okay, that's a good presentation, Lukman and Andri. Okay, let's open for question. Is there any question from anyone? Chris, Nadia, or S2? Is there any question?
I do have questions,
Yes,
probably
please.
to Lukman and Adri.
Hmm?
Do you guys already have a follow up about where we get the property bedrooms data on property table?
Actually, we try to contact to the CM, but we try to find a time to discuss it to do a cross pairing actually.
Okay, can we move on to the key result page first?
Okay.
Wait, wait.
Nah, I want to ask about one viable process to clean or refactoring the data. Can you elaborate more about that? Actually, like what's the result of that? Actually, I don't really get it to be honest.
Uh, so actually right now there is our process of cleaning the data is not yet fully defined, and as for now we only have plans to how to know the wrong data or the inappropriate data. So by the end of this week we hope that we can produce one or at least or one viable process that we could follow, so it help us to clean the data.
Oh, does it mean it's step by step on, okay, we already have a data of 100% duplicated property data, 100% inappropriate unit data, and also 100% null value clean or divine, right? And then we have the steps on, oh, then we should start with cleaning the property data first. Maybe the property bedroom is not suitable. And then after that, we move on to unit to clean another one, and then the null value one. Is that like that?
Yes, but it will be much more detailed than that. For example, in the property, for example, when cleaning the property data, after we understand what impact does it do to the other tables, when we, for example, when we change it, we want to do, we want to make sure that our process does include to change to factoring another table so that another table doesn't have a negative impact.
I see. So also including the analyzation of what's the impact if we tweaking those things kan ya,
Yeah.
Adri? Okay. Probably just masukan aja. Those knowledge can be obtained if you do pairings with multiple people, right, from the company as well. Nah, I think that the thing apa planning itu to have those knowledge itu yang masih missing di sini. So you also could include like the plan of this 3 days ahead, right? Maybe
Mhm.
maybe tomorrow you set a pairing with what is it again, CM marketing team, or also with us PD team for the technicality as well. So once you planned out, you can actually map out on how much time that you can have and how to obtain the knowledge, and then you can calculate as well how many remaining time that you can use to develop those process actually. Because right now we only see like, okay, you want to do this, do that, but we don't know whether you can actually uh, giving the result or not in a way. Okay.
Okay.
Um, so far itu dulu from me. Back to Kabayu first.
Okay. Uh, I think this is pretty good actually. So the your what do you call it? Your framework is correct actually. We found out which data is incorrect in the database, which basically the content, the data itself. And I think by knowing all of that, we can try to find a process that is more integrated to fix it rather than fixing the data one by one, basically. So my expectation would be for that the last key result, the process to clean or restructuring data would be uh, it could be a query or a calculation or how we are going to uh, populate the data from any other sources. For example, you want to replace the value of number of bedroom in the property table with the actual number of bedroom from all of the sum of the bedroom in the unit table. So that kind of calculation, or even better, it's well, probably a script that you can write down. So we can just follow the script every time we have this problem, every time this problem repeated, basically, since there is still a possibility from our backend API, if we are still inserting new data or modifying new data and resulting in the wrong uh, data stored again, even after we have cleaned the data. So that this process, or what do we call this, let's say, yeah, this process basically for refactoring, that should be include, that includes every entry point of the data, uh, when we are getting all of this new inserted data. Is it only from the backend API? Which endpoint? And is there any other automation tool that interact directly with the database or not? We need to list all of that just to make the future problems more predictable, basically. So that part is good. I like that idea. And I think you guys need another resource. So I just invited you to Airtable. So Airtable is basically almost like a duplication from for our database, right? So Airtable is a intermediary solution for gathering more data. So previously, the community manager used Trello to collect spontaneous data, right? And it's not structured. Sometimes the information like is there a Wi-Fi, or what is the Wi-Fi speed at the property? That information, they got that information by talking to the owners, and they record that on Trello, and we cannot fetch those data because on Trello it's not structured. So we change from Trello to Airtable, and on table the data is more structured. It's even table and relation based data structure, almost like our relationship database system as well. uh, you can just explore that. There's a table called property details, unit details, listing details. So that's everything that you need to know to compare that to our database, basically. And we can say that the data that is on Airtable probably is more updated than the one on database. But also there's a higher probability that is there's an error in that because it's input manually by human, right? So there's a probably difference in standard, like typo and things like that. So please use that as a reference. Once we have created our ideal structure and database relation, we can compare between our database and also Airtable and decide which one that is more accurate, which part of this table that is more accurate. For example, we can just get like one column from Airtable and the rest is from the database. That could be done as well, as long as we are sure that that this is the most up to date data. So there will be a lot of coordination in this refactoring. Uh, yeah, but I so far I'm good with your plan basically and your philosophy as well with the just one data for well, the uniqueness of the data. That's very important. Currently, we have multiple uh, data stored in different places, so that's kind of the problem. Mm, is there any other question from anyone?
No, but just want to say good job for both of you. Lol.
Okay, thank you, Chris. Nadia, do you have any question?
No, from my side. But yeah, I think that was a good presentation.
Okay, okay, that's good. If no other question, or Lukman or Adri, do you guys have a question, follow up question?
Yeah, I think I need to ask about the guideline. Like Kak Vidi previously mentioned about if we already clean the database and then we need to make the guideline because users and there are many users that maybe input the data. So my question is there any previous guideline or actually do we need make the guideline?
Mm, let me see. I think for a guideline, it's more should be on the user's touch point, not in the database level. So what we want is the database should be an infrastructure. No user should be interact with this directly. So if there's a user like a data scientist, for example, that they want to access the data, their access should be read only. So that wouldn't change anything in the database. But for the guideline, I think what we need to create is a guideline on how to interact with the database. Like for example, for the backend developer, uh, how to make a join or yeah, basically a search in a particular table, and when they want to create some a new endpoint, then uh, this read this guideline, and probably like user from Redash that they have access for read only, how they can use this database and what is related to all of these three database. This property is property database and property table and also unit and listing is related to almost everything in our data, especially related to booking and guest. So this is very important to explain how we can join the table, right? Because yeah, one property can have multiple unit. One unit can have multiple listing. One listing can have multiple units. That's pretty confusing. So we need a guideline for that. And another one probably, let me see. Uh, I guess that's it. I guess the other thing are still outside of your current context. It's on integromat, right? We have still some scenarios automation on integromat that's interacting directly with the database, and we should remove that. We should only interact with the database using the backend API. So it means that we need to make sure that there are enough endpoint for interacting with the database. So there should be uh, accrued basically basically get endpoint, put endpoint, post endpoint, delete endpoint. Everything should be prepared for property. Anything that wants any system that wants to interact with the database should interact using those endpoints instead of doing it directly. So I think that's it. I think that's the scope of the guideline. No need to, yeah, probably, of course you have to read the relationship table, the relationship diagram, so we will understand it more easily. But I think, yeah, so far that's it. That's from my side.
Okay, Kak.
Mm.
Okay, Kak. Yeah, maybe I will follow up to you if we have
Yep.
some updates about this.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. S2, you want to ask a question?
Yeah, I want to ask one
Hmm?
question. For the automation database, uh, what is called resolving new database record, have we used have ever we used trigger function from SQL to handle that?
Yep, I think so. I think some table have a trigger and also some have a procedure as well.
Oh, okay. I think we don't use that. Sorry, sir. Yeah,
Okay.
just that.
So yeah, so basic Lukman and Adri also need to have a look at that as well, just in case that we have some trigger that's related to the property table.
Okay.
Okay, any other question?
Yes, Kak.
Yep.
I want to ask the best practice when refactoring the data. So when we change the data, should it be we created an entirely new table, or we could just, for example, drop or merge the data?
Mm. Okay. Uh, Actually, for refactoring, the first thing that the most important thing that we need to create is the migration first, right? It's the part of modifying the data would be the last one. So basically we need to find out, yeah, like your key result right there, actually the process, right? What should we do, which table that needs to be changed into what, and what data needs to be dropped, with data needs to be modified. If we know all of that, then we will do that at the same time, because our data is live. So we if we have if we miss something, we will, especially on production, we will miss some data during those migration process, right? So we try to be as short as possible. So you will be the this the safest procedure for that is that we have a development database which we can just delete and then re clone it again from the production. So that's what you can do for what do you say, like experimenting with thing, right? You want to try anything, you can do that on the development database and make sure that all the script, all the query, all the migrations are working correctly. If we have tested that it's working correctly, then we will implement that on production later.
Okay, okay.
Okay, does that answers your question?
Uh, yes.
Okay.
Probably. Can I ask you later? Do a pairing later?
Yep, yep, sure. Please do a pairing or just send a question or documentation or tag me on Trello if you have a question. So we should communicate quickly. No need to wait for meeting to ask a question.
Okay. Okay. Thank you,
Kak
Kak.
Bayu, may I
Yes, Chris.
suggest something, Kak?
Yep.
Could we do this? Because we able to do it on development server, but could Adri and Lukman probably like export our data from our development server to so they can manipulate it on their local database instead? So it give more room aja sih untuk
Yeah, sure. If you need that, you can just dump it, right?
Yep, dump it first. Jadi nanti we can test first. If the process is already done, we can test it directly to development one, and then gather the result, and then
Mm.
continue to the production one first.
Okay, okay,
This I
yeah,
think is
sure,
safest.
sure. We can do that. Actually, if we can do that on development server, it will be easier to spot a problem because the development server have also development database have development backend and also development front end, right? So if you make
Ah,
changes that is breaking, you can see that right away. So it will be easier to find
I see, I
mistake right
see.
there.
Okay, okay, noted, Kawi.
Okay, I guess that's it. Yeah, and let's go to the next presentation from Risky.
Okay, hello everyone. I will present my strategic planning presentation. Okay, okay good afternoon, Kak Bayu, Kanadia, Kak Chris, and Adri Lukman. Uh, Now I will present my strategic planning presentation after 3 days of trial. Um, After 3 days, I found three observations for my final project. There is three. The first one is offline canvassing visualization, but Kak Chris told me it was simplified, and I think it will give a small impact for the uh, development, and I'm not taking that. And the second one is the automated Airbnb credential update, and I think it will be a long journey for me uh, do do the task, and I think it's not reliable timeline for me to complete this project in next 3 days. And the last one, there is still an ongoing milestone on M47 that unfinished yet, and I think it was a long-term project because it has a big field, or there is some field that must be chunked and solved one by one. I think so. It will be an reliable timeline project uh, for the milestone 47. And this is the initial background from milestone 47. Um, so the partner need to fill their information using a form. Firstly, uh, there is no budget available anymore for that form subscription, so we changed to Google Form. And when using Google Form, there's a slowdown too, because after the partner fill the Google Form, the data is go to the Google Sheet, and we must pass again to save it to our database. So it will very not efficient time comparing with the built-in partner information from inside of Bigger. And the objective is we are want to creating our own built-in partner information form, and it will reduce time need for partners onboarding form filling instead of type form subscript instead of type form or Google form. And the marketing and CM and BI chapter team can also check the data from directly from Bigger without checking from uh, Google Sheet or any else. And this is my solution for the problem. Um, for that many chance, I take one to solve. It is on payment details form, and I think it's a reliable project for 3 days work for my next final 6 day trial. And this is a example of the front end one, front end side. I'm I will work with Kak Chris as a team, I will do the back end side, and Kak Chris will do the front end side. And uh, me and Kak Chris and Kak Nadia has made a new PRD with a new background without leaving the initial background. So the project in milestone 47 is too big to work on, and we think we will need to spread it into smaller chunks for a faster and delivery result. And the details is in the PRD. I will show later. And for the key result, I have set my time limit is 2 days. So the Friday is my overdue, and the payment details form can be functionally filled and test on Postman. And there is no errors when using the form. And it is for the PRD. Thank you for Kanadia and Kakris for helping me to um, feel to structure it well. And before this, I was missing the documentation for the PRD writing, and I have contacted Kanadia too to be my project manager. So it is the background same like in the slide, and the objective and key KPI. And for the participant, there is a Kanadia as the product owner, and UI UX we use the uh, Axis design from Camellia, and me and Kak Chris will do the backend and frontend side. And yeah, I think that's the PRD. And thank you. That's for me. Is there any question?
Okay, is there any question from anyone?
Yep. From me. S2, actually, can we go to the key result first? Key result page. Nah, payment details form can be functionally filled, tested on Postman. What does it mean actually? Is it
Uh,
the API? Is it should be the API, right?
yes, the what it mean is like the end roots and sorry, the endpoint is work as in Postman, and it will respond the JSON data that I design with I design in the PRD like
Okay.
this one. So it must work like this flow. So the first one is the get request property ID, and uh,
Okay.
selecting between two tables, and then return the result. And it all
Okay.
must work and run without errors.
Okay. Of on which stage that you want to deliver it? I mean, like, is it only available on your local development, or is it already on our development server, staging
Oh,
server, or master server?
I will test it on the development server
Our
because
development server,
we
yeah.
use because we use the development database, and I don't have local database, so I will directly use the development server.
No, I mean, okay.
What, or for the testing you mean?
Eh, nggak jadi deh, itu dulu dari aku.
Okay.
That's for me first, Kak. Thank you, S2.
Okay, anyone else want to ask a question?
Yep. So this key result is actually the key result for your backend process development, or actually the key result for the whole project. Yeah? Because no error when using the form, which means the front end is also need to be done, right? How will you do that?
I think for the key result, yes, you are correct. This is the whole project. But for the backend side, um, Um, for the errors correction, I think it will be some uh, error check before I finish my project. Like if there is an error when I setting the new endpoint, or like there is a misalignment or misdata for the structure that I has been wrote in here, something like that. I think it is it
I,
clear, Kak?
s- I see. Okay. Yeah, back to Kawayu then.
Okay. Okay, so this is a project for backend, yeah. I'm actually still don't have the visibility for from your observation, right? So after your observation, what should we do here in backend? I mean, currently we have two system to access the database, right? Are you going to use the raw SQL, or are you going to use the ORM approach? And how
Oh,
you're going to
okay,
approach it in I think do you have any specific strategy for that?
okay. Yes, I have one. For the database, there is no in this slide. Okay. For the database, actually wanna use ORM, and I will make one models from the bank details. So for the querying the database and selecting the data between correlation that bank details and property, I will use the sequelize ORM. And for now, there is no models for the bank details, right? And I will make it to support my backend API. So yeah, I will make the bank details model first, and then testing the endpoint routes, and make some algorithm to return respond based on the PRD.
Mm. Okay, what about security as to what have you observed so far on our backend to improve the security of this form, because this form will be is it public call or authenticated?
This form actually just can be accessed by partner and our employee, just to that roles.
Hmm?
And for the security is um, I don't think that yet. I don't consider that yet before. So maybe for the security, we can validate for the authentication role for who will fill the or edit the payment details. Like
Okay.
if partner who if the partner edit, so he or she can edit the bank details like account number or bank name. But if the employee edit, employee roles just can edit wait.
Okay, so that information is not on the PRD, eh?
For the security, yes, is not it.
Right. So
Okay.
that also needs to be planned. We need a plan for that, and we try to avoid uh, what do you call it? Like a spontaneous coding, right? Where we code with a spontaneous idea when you're doing coding and then you suddenly change anything, like thinking, oh, this is might be good, this is might be not. So I think
Okay.
I suggest that you try to go with the project management first here. Try to make sure of all of the requirements. It's called PRD, product requirement document, right? So we need to mention all of the requirement. Is it need to be authenticated? Is it need to be validated, or is it need to be user validated, user type validated, or it just need like a query validated, right? Like the basic security measure that you can take for this is uh, I'm actually expect that you know this already, but we have a middleware for authentication in our API, so we don't need to do that, especially for authenticated endpoint like this. And also, the question is does SQLize have uh, escaping mechanism, right? Because this is a form that's submitted by user. We can avoid like SQL injection, for example. And is that possible if we are using SQLize, or is that handled already, or is that secure already, or if it's not secure, how we are going to secure that? Should we use the string escape, or should we use like a regex, or what is the strategy for that? I think that could be uh, your in detailed observation about this. Remember that this trial is to give more understanding about the context, about how currently we do things and what should we improve, right? So so if we cannot discover new knowledge, new best practice, then I don't think it's achieving our goal. That's the goal of this internship project. Actually, uh, we want to bring people, smart people, like you. All of the interns that we bring are smart people, and we want the interns to tell us what to do, because me or Chris or Nadia has been in this company for quite a long time. We know what we are doing, but we don't know what we don't do. What is the new knowledge? What is the new best practice? What is the better practice? So we bring intern to tell us what to do next. Uh, so that's the value that we are expecting from this internship project. Uh, so I guess that's it. That's the point of this trial period as well, right? Whether you are a better person after 6 days or not, then yeah, that would be our evaluation for this trial week. Um, I guess that's it then. Is there anything else that you guys want to ask from anyone, from maybe from all of the interns? Is there any additional information that you guys require?
Hmm, I think I know from me.
Okay, okay. If everything's clear, then uh, let's see. Okay, Estu, what are you going to do next?
Oh yeah. Um, I will doing some research for what can be improved in this feature more than this what I designed on the PRD, like this one, the security, and I will find out find out more what I can improve, and I will write it down on the PRD.
Okay.
And then after that, uh, I think I will start code after all the research is finished.
Okay. When do you want to finish the PRD?
By Friday.
Okay. And when are you going to start to code?
I think today we'll start.
But how do you know what to code when if the PRD is not finished?
Yeah, after the research is finished.
Mm. Okay, let's do this then, S2. Let's try to complete those PRD. Well, you can ask Nadia, or you can ask Chris on how to manage this, and then maybe you can ping me tomorrow about the update of the PRD, just to check, and then tomorrow you can start coding, and see. Tomorrow is Thursday, yeah, and then by Friday you can ping me again about your progress of the code. Try to commit on different branch, and then I will review the code, and also Chris as well, so that we know the progress. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Okay. That's it then for this presentation. Thank you everyone for PD interns. I'll see you around. Yeah. Just ping me if you have any question. And I think we also have stand up here today, at 5.
Yep.
So don't forget, don't miss it. Lukman, Adri, S2, please join our stand up. It's a simple question. What did you do so far? And then what's your current work? And what problem are you facing on the current work? It will take only 15 minutes for this stand up. So see you there, yeah? Okay.
Thank you,
Alright, thank you, Kak.
Kak.
Thank you,
See
Kak.
you,
See you
everyone. Good
everyone.
luck,
Thank
good luck.
Really.
you.
Thank you, everyone. See you. See you.